So today we're going to take a look at this math message question. So it says, which phrase, extremely likely, 50-50 chance, or very likely, best describes the chance of picking a red card from a regular deck of playing cards? What do you guys think? 50-50. What makes you think 50-50? Yeah, because half of them are red, half of them are black. You're right. So we had a 50-50 chance right there. There are 52 cards in a deck, and 26 of them are red, 26 of them are black. So each of them has an equal chance, a 50-50 chance. So today we're going to be exploring probabilities and different vocabulary terms when chance events are equally likely. Okay? So friends, I'm going to erase here. And we're going to explore some terms. Do you want to go ahead at the top of your notebook page, label the page, the lesson, probability. Go ahead and write down these terms along with me. We've got extremely likely, okay? So we think about extremely likely, and that's going to be something the chance is very, very high, okay? So if I had a bag here, and inside that bag I had letter A's and one letter B, the chance of me pulling a letter A is extremely likely, right? Okay? So then we have what we talked about before with our math message, 50-50 chance. And that's when chances are equal. Okay, so if I have the same amount of A's and the same amount of B's for that one, that'd be 50-50 chance right there. That's exactly right. We've got unlikely. Okay, so when we're thinking about extremely likely, unlikely would be the opposite of that. Where you can look here and pulling that B then, there's a chance of it, it's in there, right, but it's unlikely. Okay, so that's different than pulling the A from that same bag, extremely likely, versus pulling that B, which is unlikely. Okay, then we have word certain, and that's 100%. Okay, if I'm looking here at that bag, it's certain that I would pull a letter, right? Either A or B, but a letter will be pulled. 100% chance, certain. And then our last word that we'll be looking at is impossible. So I'm taking a look at these bags here. It's impossible for me to pull a C, right? Because the C, there is no C in that bag, okay? So it's impossible. That would be 0% chance right there. That's right. You heard 8 Ball say those. So I'm going to give you a second here to go ahead and make sure that you've jotted down those terms. Might be helpful to draw those pictures along with it, so that when you look back at your notebook, you remember really kind of what we were talking about there. Okay, so taking a look here, how likely do you think it is that the card I picked, I have 52 cards in the deck, and I'm splaying them out. How likely, extremely likely, 50-50 chance, unlikely, certain, or impossible, would it be a face card with a king, a queen, a jack? The extremely likely, 50-50 chance, unlikely, certain, or impossible. There. What do you think? How do you think unlikely? I agree with you.
Usually when I do
there's not as many, right? So we're kind of looking at B here, where there weren't as many of them. So we've got numbers 1 through 10, and there's 4 of them, right? And so, yes, pulling a face card would be unlikely. What about a heart, a diamond, or a club? When we think about there's 4 suits, right? A heart, a diamond, or a club. Extremely likely, 50-50 chance, unlikely, certain, or impossible. Yes. Well, I've got 4 suits, okay? So they're asking right now a heart, a diamond, or a club instead of, what's our last suit there, guys? Spades, right? So I've got 3 heart, diamonds, or club and just 1 spade. So on that one, it would be extremely likely that I would pull a heart, a diamond, or a club because that's similar to these A's right here, okay? What is the probability of me pulling number 46? Would that be extremely likely, 50-50 chance, unlikely, certain, or impossible? What do you think, sir? Unlikely would still mean there's a chance. Is there a number 46 in a deck of cards? There's not one at all. So what would it be? Impossible. Yeah, I understand. And so we're going to be using the deck of 52 cards throughout our lesson today. So that's why we're using that to kind of warm up here. What would the likelihood of me pulling a card at all? Yes, sir. Certain, 100% chance. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Okay? So guys, I'm going to show you one more thing before we get started with our lesson back at our seats, and it's a formula for finding the probability of events when the outcomes are equally likely. Okay? Does anybody need this still? No? Okay. So as we're taking a look here, we're going to write a formula. So go ahead and follow along with me. We're going to label this formula. Formula for finding the probability, please. Okay, so when we're taking a look here, go ahead and write down formula for finding the probability of an event when the outcomes are equally likely. Okay, so we're looking at the number of favorable outcomes. And we divide that by the number of possible outcomes. I'm going to write that down. We'll practice that a little bit. Okay? So, for example, if I had $52 cards in a deck, would be the number of possible cards. That'd be our bottom number, right? And if I wanted to know the probability of me pulling a number 4 out of my deck, there'd be 4 4s in a deck of cards. So my probability, the number of favorable outcomes would be 4. So if I'm going to say probability of pulling a 4. Okay, that would be 4 out of 52. Okay, so thinking about that, what would the probability of me pulling an 8 be? How many 8s are there, friends? 4. 4 of them. So it also would be 4 out of 52. Okay, So when we were taking a look over here, I know some of you still need to write down that other one. I'll move this in just a second, okay? So if we were going to look here in this bag with A being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 A's and 1 B, the probability of pulling an A would be 6 out of 7 possible letters, okay? So it's the number that we're looking for over the total possible outcomes. We'll practice this a little bit more back at our seats. So I'm going to stop our video. You can go ahead and say goodbye.
Bye.